Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for this very... Hello. So, let me start. It is a great pleasure and honor for me to welcome you to the conference Romanian Polish Strategic Partnership Sharing Mutual Visions, kindly hosted by the Titulescu European Foundation. My name is Gabriela Dragan. I am the General Director of the European Institute of Romania, co-organizer of this event, together with PIS, the Polish Institute of International Affairs. I'd like warmly welcome the presence of Polish Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Radoslav Sikorski, and of the Romanian Minister of Foreign Affairs, Titulescu. I'd like also to welcome the presence of distinguished Romanian and Polish experts, researchers, academics, independent consultants in the field of European and foreign affairs. And I'd like only to say a few words about the aim of our event. When we first began its planning, our intention was to gather representatives of different Romanian and Polish think tanks dealing with EU affairs, in order to consolidate and expand cooperation between the two countries, also at the level of think tanks. In our view, this event should represent only the first step in a long-term partnership aiming to bring closer research community of the two countries and thus to better support the excellent bilateral relations established at governmental level between Romania and Poland. And speaking about Romanian-Polish relations, allow me only to mention that in 2013, the two countries celebrate 20 years from the signing in January 1993 of the Treaty on Friendship and Cooperation, a treaty which created the basic framework for bilateral cooperation after the fall of communism. In 2009, the treaty was completed by a joint declaration, and in 2010, a 5-year action plan was signed, launching a strategic dialogue focusing mainly on defense and security issues. On the evolution of this strategic partnership, allow me only to quote the ambassador of Poland in Romania, His Excellency Marek Cigel, that described this strategic partnership briefly and very suggestive as being excellent. He said, this is the shortest way to describe this strategic partnership. And I would like only to say something that Romanian-Polish relations are traditionally based on friendship, trust and cooperation. And I'd like only to remind you that in September 1939, Bank Polski, the Central Polish Bank, sent its treasure to Romania for safekeeping, and the Polish treasury was fully returned to Poland, the last part in 1947, a very small one. And coming back to the present moment, I'd like to mention that the strategic dialogue has been reinforced by dynamic trade exchange. In 2012, trade exchange had close to 3.5 billion euro. However, and I will finish now, the relationship defined and built in the framework of the Polish-Romanian strategic partnership would need further concrete and efficient steps and results. Poland and Romania, the two biggest countries of the Central East Europe, can significantly support the transformation of the European Union and of its eastern neighborhood into a more integrative space on medium and long term. It only takes spirit of collaboration, coordination and pragmatism. And our today conference might represent a significant step in the right direction. So, I would like now to invite and to take the floor to Mr. Maciej Zaborowski, Director of PIS and co-organizer of this event.
Thank you very much. Indeed, I'm really running out of time, so that was a super brief. I can only endorse your remarks. The relationship is very good. It's full of potential that needs to be fulfilled. And we are delighted to have both ministers here on this occasion, 20th anniversary of the Treaty of Friendship and Cooperation. It's a good point to move on. Mr. Minister, I'd like to invite you to share with us your remarks on the relationship.
Well, look, Titus and I wanted to come here to express our support for what you're doing, namely the analytical work that I hope will help our governments to see what we can do more in a relationship that is historically excellent, but which still has a lot of potential, because both Romania and Poland are aspirational countries. We are both countries that are returning to their historical roles in their regions. we have some hard interests in common, not only to do with history and sensitivities to do with that, but also as members of NATO, as border members of NATO, that imposes certain duties and certain viewpoints, but also in the European Union. It's to do with agriculture, but more broadly to do with non-discrimination. For example, as regards the movement of people, as regards bureaucratic appointments in European institutions, energy sphere. Romania is particularly well placed, but we all know that there are some energy challenges. So what I hope you will produce is you will come up with ideas that our own officials haven't come up with, so that we can do our jobs better. Good luck.
Distinguished Minister, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to welcome very officially, but also very friendly, the presence of my colleague and friend, Minister Titulescu in Bucharest. I can tell you that not only speaking about an important common past coming from the history, but also making the reference to what is an exceptionally strong strategic partnership between Romania and Poland, the presence of Minister Titulescu in Bucharest, it's really an important contribution to this partnership. And I want to confirm you that today we had very substantial agenda of discussions with common positions, common assessments, common interests, and I'm sure with good demarches, coordinated demarches for promoting these interests. So I want to confirm from the beginning that this strategic partnership is not only important for both sides, but is producing results. Secondly, I want to thank, of course, to both the Romanian and the Polish Institute for co-organizing this important forum at the level of the civil society, which, by the way, is part of the action plan of the strategic partnership. And also to thank to the Titulescu European Foundation for hosting in this special place for us, keeping the memory of the most distinguished Romanian diplomat that the Romanian diplomacy had ever. The forum today is indeed something that we were expecting. And an intellectual and also pragmatic contribution coming from both sides, it will be very helpful for the governmental level. We discussed the political bilateral relationship. We have a mechanism of strategic consultations, and we maintain the rhythm. We are advancing initiatives like the trilateral informal form of cooperation with Turkey, but also offered for the support of the aspirant countries for NATO. We have a strong interest in deepening the economic trade. Last year, 3.5 billion euros, but far from the real potential of both countries. Strong interest on both sides for the investments, the Polish investments, the Romanian investments in Poland. Of course, interest on the defense, security cooperation, and thinking for the next year to support the idea in also a symbolistic moment marking the anniversary of the 75 years of the Polish exile in Romania to organize a common session of the governments. Of course, we concentrate on the substance of the strategic partnership, both political security and economic aspects, but also putting in value a certain very important and positive symbolistics. And on our side, and I can tell you also publicly, that we are interested that Romania and Romanians have a proper perception in Poland, being strong friends and allies of Poland. Of course, we discussed the role of Poland and Romania in the European architecture, in the common interests, the common visions related to the EU enlargement to be continued and supported in the Balkans. We discussed very strongly and very openly on the big interests related to the Vilnius summit and the need for the success of this political project of the European Union that was launched by Poland and Sweden, and after that joined also by Romania, to assure a success of this summit in Vilnius, supporting the aspirations of the Republic of Moldova, the aspirations of Ukraine, looking very careful to support Georgia's path, European path, to maintain the dialogue with Armenia, to see on the cooperation with Azerbaijan, and to look on Belarus. We have strong interests on our Euro-Atlantic family. I will not develop, you are perfectly aware, and we have a common base from this point of view. So many very substantial things, and we do our job on the governmental side. What is once again very welcomed and expected is the civil society contribution, innovative ideas, projects that you can bring towards the governmental side, and I want to confirm a strong interest for receiving and using these new ideas and fresh ideas and visions that I'm sure that the very distinguished contributors, I know the contributors that will follow, can bring in the support of this strategic partnership between Romania and Poland. I will finish this because it's true, Mr. Sikorski has immediately after this moment another official important moment in the agenda, but I want to thank you for the interest, for the work in the preparation of this forum, and honestly we are waiting with great interest the concrete contribution that will be brought by the forum. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellencies, for being here, for saying a few words for our participants, and I would like only at the end of this session to express my belief in the future of a stronger and maybe more profitable relationship between Poland and Romania. Thank you very much again. It will be now a very short technical.
Ask you to please take your seats. We are about to start our first session, and if we don't do it right on time, then we will have a real problem in about a couple of hours. I understand we have room for a limited period of time. In any case, and we all have schedules to attend. This session is dedicated to the issue of security and defense. And it is my pleasure to introduce our guests here on the panel. Let's start from my left, Mr. Titulescu, Editor-in-Chief of the journal Revista 22, which is the major weekly in Romania. It's very influential and very well edited, of course, and very professionally done. Sarah, it's a pleasure to have you with us. Mr. Titulescu, Senior Researcher at the Institute for Political Studies of Defense and Military History in Bucharest, which is a major foreign policy and defense think tank associated with the MOD. Łukasz Kulesa is Director of the Non-Proliferation and Disarmament Program at the Polish Institute of International Affairs, which is the best think tank in Europe, of course. And Adam Burakowski from the Institute of Political Studies at the Polish Science Academy, and the author of books on Romanian history. So we have a very rich panel with a very little time. So I have to ask my panelists to be very constrained and up to the point in your remarks. Really, if we want to have a discussion, you cannot speak for more than 7-8 minutes. 7-8 minutes, because otherwise, well, let's stretch it to a maximum 10, but we have an hour and 15 minutes. So if we want to have a dialogue with the audience, then we can't really do that. I just ask you to try to skip to the essential points of your speech, and then we take it from there, because I would like to have an interactive mode here with people from the audience also contributing their ideas. Let me just say that from what both ministers said at the very beginning, it's important that we try to come up with some concrete ideas, recommendations, which later on we will be writing into a report, which we will submit to both ministries. And that is one of the purposes of that kind of exercise to have. Now, and one more house rule is important here. That session is actually on the record, or it's on the basis of Chatham House rule. That means that journalists, media people in the room, you can quote things that you hear, but you cannot associate them with particular individuals. So let's stick to that, and that remains the case for that session. In the following session, it's not the case. The following session, we can do whatever we want, as long as it remains true to the case. This is about security and defense. It's very interesting because Poland and Romania have had this defense relationship, long-term defense relationship for a long time. There's been always a lot of potential in it. We are both committed to a strong and robust defense, which is not really the case in most of Europe these days. We both spend around 2% of our GDP on defense, and almost nobody does that in Europe anymore. So that shows a certain compatibility. We also both host, Romania will host very soon parts of American missile defense installation here. Poland is hoping to be the host nation of the third phase of the adaptive approach in 3 years' time, 2018, that makes it 5 years. So we need to consult and talk to each other about it, because this missile defense thing keeps changing all the time, depending on the wishes of the main actor in that architecture, and we've got to make sure that we get the best deal possible in that context. That's why Polish-Romanian cooperation that is very important. Also, in terms of our equipment, Poland has decided to buy F-16s about 10 years ago. They are already operational. They fly. They go places. I understand that Romania is about to embark on a similar decision. And we are the only nations in Central and Eastern Europe which will have F-16s and hence compatible equipment. These things are very important. And that means that even though Poland has defense cooperation with the Visegrad Group, in fact we are closer to Romania in terms of our defense and security interests than to any other nation here in this region. Without much ado, let me now pass the floor to our panelists, starting with Mr. Kosciuk, who has already protested the 10 minutes is not enough. But unfortunately, I have to ask you to be as brief as possible. And then we can come back and debate some of the points we wanted to raise. Mr. Kosciuk, the floor is yours.
Thank you for your kind invitation to participate in this conference. The subject is the Romanian Polish Strategic Partnership. I would like to share with you a few general considerations about the past interaction between Poland and Romania, as well as the present situation. Romania has already signed a number of strategic partnerships with the United States, Hungary, Italy, France, the Republic of Moldova, and Turkey. At the NATO summit in Madrid in 1997, Romania was not invited to join the North Atlantic Alliance. A strategic partnership was set up with the United States in 1997. It could be expected as a gesture from Washington consoling Bucharest for being left out. In 2007, in Italy, a Romanian immigrant killed an Italian military officer's wife, which created an enormous scandal. What was the Romanian response? A new strategic partnership was signed with Italy. Almost 1 million Romanians now live in Italy. That deserves a strategic partnership. Behind each strategic partnership, there is an official motivation and a real one. The real motivation can be easily understood analyzing the political context in which the documents were signed. I have sometimes asked myself what drove the presidents of Poland and Romania to sign the October 7, 2009 Common Declaration in Bucharest. There is a view that the Romanian Polish Strategic Partnership is the most natural alliance that can exist due to our historical compatibility and our traditional collaboration. However, the historical facts do not confirm this. The Kingdom of Poland was founded in 1025 and was one of the largest and most powerful medieval states in the Catholic Europe. Galatia and Moldavia were set up 300 years later and were connected to Eastern Orthodox Europe. In the 16th century, the Union of Lublin founded the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, which was divided 3 times until it was absorbed by Russia, Austria, and Prussia at the end of the 18th century. In the 16th century, Moldavia and Wallachia became part of the Ottoman Commonwealth, but they had maintained a large autonomy for centuries. Romanians consider the preservation of statehood to be the most important achievement of their medieval history. The facts are crystal clear. There is no solid historical common past on which to cement the strategic partnership. In those times, despite geographic proximity, we belonged to different worlds, Poland to the west and Romania to the east. Poland was one of the most powerful European kingdoms, but at various times Romanian principalities were vassals to Hungary, Poland, or Turkey. Even the name of the country, Romania, was only officially adopted in 1862, and Romania gained independence in 1878. Others explain the strategic partnership by the absence in the past of any territorial disputes between Romania and Poland. However, if you get the Kokushia issue, territory in the Galician region in Ivano-Frankovsk, Ukraine today, a land that was disputed by Poland and Romania after the First World War. Romanian troops occupied this territory for a short time during the conflict between Poland and Ukraine. Romania and Poland, the 2 biggest EU member countries of Central and Eastern Europe, have different track records. Poland is a success story of European integration, but Romania still has problems with justice affairs, corruption, fund absorption, and administrative reforms. As if that was not enough, Romania had an image deficit which increased after the domestic political crisis in the summer of 2011. As there is not so much in common, why was the strategic partnership signed in October 2009? Unlike other strategic partnerships, this one between Poland and Romania gave consideration to not only political cooperation but also other areas such as regional security and military matters. The action plan signed by the 2 presidents 1 year later, in October 2010, actually mentioned common projects in areas such as political, regional security, military cooperation, economy, and energy. The Strategic Partnership Initiative was started by Bucharest and was the Romanian response to geopolitical developments in the eastern neighborhood in the summer of 2008. In Brussels, Minister Radosław Sikorski and Carl Bildt took the initiative and proposed a soft power project, Eastern Partnership, the European Union's response to the Russian military campaign against Georgia in August 2008. Both Romania and Poland were involved in promoting the Georgian request to join NATO at the Bucharest summit in April 2008. A few months later, in August, Romania and Poland were shocked by the Russian operation. Both presidents flew to Tbilisi to support Mikhail Saakashvili. It is in this context that the European Partnership was launched in Prague in May 2009. Minister Sikorski and Bildt, well known as active promoters of European political and economic convergence and values, are the leader of the Eastern Partnership. A few months later, in October 2009, the presidents of Poland and Romania signed a common declaration setting up the strategic partnership as a response to Russia. Since that time, many things have changed in Eastern Europe. Between Poland and Russia, a process of reconciliation commenced. It is more than likely that after the presidential election, the relationship between Romania and Russia will be warmer. The Polish-Russian process of reconciliation might be followed by Bucharest. If eventually there is less fear of Russia and the process of reconciliation generates many changes in the public opinion of three countries, Russia, Poland, and Romania, strategic partnership would not become useless. Both Romania and Poland wish for that to happen in order to strengthen their partnership and make it more effective in other fields, not only military. A strategic partnership is a framework for setting up stronger, far-reaching cooperations in many more fields. On some important issues, Poland and Romania apparently share similar perspectives due to their geographic position at the EU borders. Eastern Partnership, common security and defense policy, energy and agriculture. Why should Romania and Poland be interested in developing this strategic partnership? As far as Poland is concerned, I'm hoping for an answer from my Polish colleague. What advantage are there for Romania in such a partnership? In the last few years, I have often heard and have found myself using the expression example of Poland. Poland became a reference point for Romanians due to its success in various areas. The Polish experience was invoked by the President and Prime Minister when they were talking about the modest absorption of European money by Romanian institutions. The example of Poland was discussed by the Romanian diplomats when they focused on the Eastern Partnership. I discussed the example of Poland and its expertise on Eastern affairs with my Russian and French colleagues and compared it to the lack of expertise on Ukrainian, Russian affairs in Romania. The transfer of the Polish lessons of successful European integration to Romanian partners came at the first level of our collaboration. My Polish friends have often stressed that Poland had huge political and social problems, that it's not an example to be followed. Comparing with Romania, Hungary, or Slovakia, Poland is a success story. Romania can't afford to miss this historic opportunity to modernize deeply via the EU membership. Nobody knows how long this period of peace and relative prosperity will continue. The second level can be the strategic and military cooperation. The purpose would to develop common military capacity under NATO's umbrella together with the American strategic partner of both countries. I'm convinced that my colleagues will talk more precisely about this issue than I could. About the third level, the Romanian-Polish Partnership for the Eastern Neighborhood, Octavian Milewski, one of my best students, published an excellent policy paper 2 days ago in the journal New Eastern Europe. For those who have not read this article, the idea is to set up a partnership for Poland and Romania with the purpose of working together in Ukraine and in the Republic of Moldova to bring our neighbors close to the European Union and to prepare them for further integration with Western institutions. This 10-year project could be the maturity test for Romania. For this project, Romania might be advised to assume a substantial modification in its approach to relation with Ukraine and the Republic of Moldova. This common project could open an excellent opportunity for Romania to prepare teams of experts on Ukraine and Republic of Moldova who will be in direct contact with the social, political and economic reality of two countries. Romanians have a lot to learn from Polish academics dealing with these issues. This is a commonly held opinion But we should remember that to ensure the correct decisions, we need a qualified expertise.
Thank you. You almost actually done. No, but you've done very well in terms of your country, and not only, but thank you very much for giving us this really broad context here in which we can talk about strategic partnership in security and defense. This is extremely helpful. You expressed some skepticism here. We will come back to that, and I think it's a very, very interesting basis to carry on. Now, Mr. Titulescu, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Would you like to give us your contribution?
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I will try to I don't, it's okay? Like this?
No.
This time? Okay. It's a different. I don't have much time. I will try to speak in 10 minutes. Not to be so boring. It's impossible in 10 minutes to be boring. Okay. So, contemporary Romania and Poland are closely connected countries, both being members in the European Union and NATO, and they are situated on the eastern flank of the Euro-Atlantic world. They have a strategic partnership. They have also the action plan. Prior to that, in 2006, the two governments signed an agreement for the mutually protecting of the classified information. Now, the priorities of the two countries within NATO and the European Union, even if not identical, share many common features. Both want a strong Euro-Atlantic alliance, the continuation of the enlargement of NATO, and, of course, implicitly, they want the United States of America to keep its preponderant systemic power in international relations. They fear the dissolution of a possible dissolution of NATO and the diminishing of the relevance of the Article 5 of the Washington Treaty, the collective defense. Poland and Romania also seem to want contingency planning for the flanks and keep an eye on Russia in spite of the tendency to improve their relation with Moscow. Now, of course, NATO is the best security provider and guarantor for the two states, but they must work to ensure that it will be effective and fast in case of a threat evolving in a crisis or a conflict. I will not insist on the need of solidarity and cohesion among the member states. Now, in my opinion, Poland still seems to privilege the image of a NATO as fundamentally dedicated to territorial defense against classical threats, but also recognizing the importance of new asymmetric threats. While Romania also tried to accommodate these two characteristics, territorial defense and projecting security in other areas. I mean a regional NATO, but also the tendency to a global NATO perspective. Now, as you mentioned at the beginning, Romania and Poland could also cooperate more closely in the military field. They could use the smart defense concept of NATO. I mean, buying together, military equipments. They could use together, train on the military planes, helicopters. They could also use together drones and other equipment. You mentioned the F-16 planes. Romania and Poland so could cooperate in this area. Now, they will have both the countries on their territory elements of the United States anti-missile shield, and it means that both of these countries will be part of the United States grand strategy to keep a strong West and a predictable strategic environment. I know that Poland hosts a battery of Patriot missiles, and but it develops also its own defense missile system. I know that you plan in 2012 to spend about 400 million United States dollar on the creation of your own missile defense system in Poland. Of course, you mentioned in March this year, Washington announced the plan to cancel the installing of the last generation of interceptors SM-3 Block 2B in Poland. Anyway, Poland will have the Block 2A installed during the third phase. Up to now, Romania did not take into account the likelihood to buy and install some anti-missile elements on his own, but nothing is impossible, and the Polish experience must not be neglected. Also concerning the United States, from a different angle, the Polish and Romanian citizens, still need United States visa, which is not the case for all the European states, and the two governments should put maybe a bigger pressure on the United States government to give up visa requirement for all the European Union state citizens. Now, concerning the European Union, of course, Poland and Romania wants the enhancement of the process of the European integration. They want to support European Union neighbors via the European Neighborhood Policy and the Eastern Partnership. Europe, concerning the common security and defense policy and the diplomacy. Europe must rely on a strong and coherent diplomacy, backed by a common strategic culture and by more military strength. Diplomacy by itself is not necessarily effective and credible without a military deterrent. Situation of crisis and civil war, like we see today in the Middle East, Northern Africa, Libya, Syria, means that the Arab Spring tends to evolve sometimes in violent ethnic, socio-economic and religious clashes. So we should be prepared. Other area of cooperations, this time concerning the European Defence Agency, Romania and Poland would enhance the cooperation within the European Defence Agency for research and development in many important fields. Concerning the neighborhood policy and the Eastern Partnership, of course, Romania and Poland know that it's impossible to have all the European Union members being equally interested in all the neighbors. There are historical preferences and geographical connections. From a regional and historic angle, Poland and Romania are more interested in promoting the interest of the eastern states, mainly those from the so-called wider Black Sea area. When Poland and Sweden launched in 2008-2009 the Eastern Partnership, at the beginning, Romanian decision makers were not too enthusiastic and preferred to wait for a time to understand the role and the consequences of this initiative. In my opinion, at the beginning, they were a little bit afraid about the competition between this Eastern Partnership and the Black Sea synergy. Romania also tried to promote the regional initiative in the Black Sea area. Now, Romania and Poland both want the Eastern Partnership roadmap to be a success and to have positive outcomes at the Vilnius summit, which will be held in November this year. While Poland is very dedicated to Ukraine and wanted to sign the association agreement with the EU and to have visa-free regime, Romania is very interested in the fate of the Republic of Moldova, which is our sister country. But at the same time, Romania also supports Ukraine for European Union association and also for possible integration, and had been also an advocate of NATO membership when Kiev was a candidate for this, because as you know now, they have gave up. And Poland is also interested in the fate of the Republic of Moldova, helping it to consolidate the internal legal and administrative mechanism for a possible European integration. So what is my point? Both of our country wants at least Moldova and Ukraine, not to speak also about Georgia, Azerbaijan, the eastern country, to receive the association agreement and the other instruments proposed by the European Union. And we think a better coordination could produce more results. Okay. And also this could help Romania normalize its relation with Ukraine, benefiting from Polish support. There are a lot of common interests for Poland and Romania in the Black Sea Caspian states: implementing of the common values and principles, reform of the justice and administrative system of these countries, customs, security sector, combating corruption, ensuring the rule of law and free elections. Also, the comprehensive free trade area is a top priority, and the association. Another field of strategic interest is the energy cooperation. Romania and Poland share the common interest that the European Union must reduce the dependence on gas imported from Russia, generally seeking the diversification and supply corridors, and also developing less polluting resources. You know, the fact that the Nabucco West recently had been rejected by the Shah Deniz consortium means not that the quest for the diversification of the corridor should be abandoned. I know that Poland also had been a great supporter of the Nabucco, so we should not be discouraged by this, let's say, failure. Also concerning the cooperation in agriculture, many people in Romania are very, how you say, they prize the Polish way to develop the agriculture using European Union funds. And now a very sensitive issue is the so-called Visegrad Group. Honestly speaking, you know, how Romanians see, generally speaking, the Visegrad Group. They see it as a regional group of Central Europe, which was created to accelerate EU and NATO integration, and now is kept alive to increase the geopolitical and institutional weight of its members. In the past, Romania did not manage to become a member in this group, and after EU and NATO enlargement in 2004-2007, a lot of Romanians asked themselves why the Visegrad still existed if it had accomplished its role. Now Romania cooperates well with the V4 group on various issues. Of course, we understand the need to increase security at the regional level and the tendency of mini blocs within the EU and NATO. The only preoccupation if such group do not eventually diminish the coherence and solidarity of the EU and NATO, and if they do not perpetuate some historical problems instead of solving them. It's true that 20 years ago Romania was not perceived as a Central European state, but most likely like a Balkan country, even if geographically only a small part of Romania, I mean Dobroja, belongs to the Balkans. Now, we Romanians, we like to speak of Romania as a Central Eastern European state. So there is a potential debate about what will be the relation of Romania with Visegrad Group. Maybe, I don't know, in the future, taking observer status, maybe trying to become a member. It depends on both of the countries. But there is a perspective to enhance the cooperation. And speaking directly, we consider Poland as being the natural leader of the Visegrad, because it's the biggest member, the strongest economy, and the most powerful army. Also, Romania maybe would like Poland to exert a moderating influence on Hungary, another member of the V4, which is also a strategic partner for Romania, but which is often creating internal and external turbulence by agitating the historical rights of the Hungarian minority in Romania. The fact that Romania and Hungary still cannot have a completely positive relations, like France and Germany managed to do, you know, former enemies which became friends, means that there is a reason for Romania trying to enhance the participation in the Visegrad, because this could be also a possibility to try to ameliorate the relation with Hungary, with having Poland as an ally. Also, concerning the recent launched cooperation, the triangle between Romania, Poland and Turkey. You know, Turkey is a key country for NATO, and we support Turkey for EU membership. Notwithstanding the domestic characteristic of their politics and the sometimes disturbing feature of their foreign policy. Poland has the expertise and influence to exert a moderating influence on Turkey and get it closer to the European Union. I will try immediately to finish. And also you mentioned in the morning the future battle group of the Visegrad Group, which will be ready in 2016. In your strategic document, the presidency of the Poland in the Visegrad Group, you mentioned that there is a need for cooperation with Ukraine, Georgia, but also with the Baltic states and Romania and Bulgaria. So we could also cooperate on this point. And finally, to finish my presentation, I think we should try to make this strategic partnership more concrete. I mean, trying to identify specific topics and to develop cooperation, not generally speaking as a framework, but very punctual and on feasible issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let me just move straight to our Polish speakers this time. Let's try to be concrete and focus on some recommendations here. I'm not quite sure this works, right? Okay, good. So let's move to Łukasz, and Anderson, he will talk about security and environment specifically, right?
Exactly, and I'll start more or less exactly where Szczepan finished his presentation, and he made my job a lot easier because I agree almost completely with his assessment of our joint approach and joint assessment of major developments in international security and also the role of NATO, European Union, and the United States. And indeed, this is a strange thing with strategic partnerships, that they proliferate very much. Almost everybody right now is a strategic partner with everybody else. In some cases, there seems to be very little substance behind such a symbolic upgrade of the relationship. And in other countries, it says a little bit more about our aspirations and our hopes than the actual state of the relationship. Yes, the question to be asked is really, is the character of our relationship and the intensity of our cooperation enough to really make us a strategic partner? And let me reveal my conclusion now. In my opinion, we're not there yet. The intensification of the bilateral contacts in recent years has been really impressive. There was a lot being done to lay the foundation, but we are lacking this tangible, internationally recognized trademarks, the projects which can bring attention to us both internationally and also internally, to actually transfer to our own population, to our own citizens, the notion that we are a little bit more than just partners. These could be joint diplomatic initiatives, this could be cooperation projects between the militaries and defense industries, but generally we need this upgrade of the visibility of the relationship. And it is much easier when actually the groundwork is done and we don't have to discuss our approach to international security, because it's more or less the same. Of course, we are not entirely on the same page with everything. Recognition of Kosovo is one thing that divides us. One can also refer to the different reactions to the international intervention in Libya, where Romania was part of the force-provided naval assets, as far as I know, to the maritime operation, and Poland decided against military deployment. But even now, when we look at the Syrian situation, we ended at the same page. We ended supporting the statement of part of the countries which represent the G20 summit. Basically, on the role of the United States, on the role of NATO and the need to keep NATO primarily as an Article 5 based common defense organization, I believe we have a very, very similar views. Also, when it comes to Russia, I think our historic experiences and also our geography makes it a kind of imperative for us both to pay very close attention to the developments of the Russian security policy. And it cannot be overlooked that we are witnessing